Hey, welcome back, guys. As we witnessed in Snowfall's The Iliad Part 1, Franklin's entire organization is under attack by unknown assailants. The armed hitters focus their fury not only on Franklin, but his connect, family, and hood associates. But just who is behind these well-calculated attempts to overthrow the king? In today's video, we'll attempt to deduce that saboteur based on what we know and make predictions for the second half of this explosive 5th season. Before we begin, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and bell notification to immediately receive these videos. Also, big thank you to all of my channel donors. If you'd like to be the next one, drop $1 on that Cash App for us. And lastly, a spoiler alert is now in effect for all things Snowfall. Here we go. When a barrage of attacks occur on this level, one thing is for certain: everybody is a suspect. That is, everybody with something to gain. The question we must ask ourselves is this: who had the most to gain from the eradication of Franklin's drug empire? From where this commentator is sitting, there are 6 potential culprits to the heinous assassination attempts. Let's rank the potential perpetrators, beginning with suspect number 6, Peaches. To be quite honest, I strongly doubt Peaches is behind the treachery against his longtime employer. Saint's personal muscle and bodyguard has been clandestinely struggling with an illness most of us assume are complications from HIV, which could understandably be the rationale for his disappearance in 505. However, his knowledge of weaponry, former vet status, and MIA predicament is enough for him to make this list, even if his involvement is most unlikely. I'm pulling for Peaches, although it isn't looking good as he's potentially facing his mortality. That alone could possibly affect his mental state in the negative and inspire ill will, but could it send him into a murderous, vengeful rampage? Hopefully, this is the furthest thing from the case. Suspect number 5, Ruben. Ruben's mysterious nature and equally mysterious intelligence ties are enough for the agents to make this list. We've only witnessed him corresponding with Sissy in hopes of avenging Alton's death through Teddy's own demise. However, he expounded on those efforts in 505 by trying to coerce Sissy into surveilling her son, something she wisely opposed. Who's to say the agent, in the midst of her denials, didn't roguely pursue Teddy by attacking every branch of his operation, i.e., Franklin and his family? Such a maneuver would have succeeded in smoking Teddy out and simultaneously harming him. If surveillance wasn't an option, then he'd have to find an alternative route, right? Also, it isn't far-fetched to infer that the shooters were none other than guns for hire in the effort. Intelligence agencies are known for hiring outsiders to commit heinous acts for compensation. Such an example was offered to the mainstream in mass via the film Judas and the Black Messiah, which dealt heavily with hired infiltrators. There's enough reason to doubt his involvement, surely, but equally enough to possibly implicate his involvement in the whodunit. Suspect number 4, Buckley. Buckley's a bitch. His hoish tendencies notwithstanding, Officer Bo Buckley is a prime suspect in the case of those well-calculated attacks. As a member of the LAPD's infamous crash unit, he'd be more than privy to weaponry and ex-cons looking to lighten their sentence by carrying out the various misdeeds of the department on a street level. Also, he's already displayed his penchant for carnage via that project raid against Leon and his crew. The lingering questions with his potential involvement is this: what would be his motivation? Based on what we know, his bosses are constantly on his case about numbers and drug busts. And through his insider to the underworld, he could possibly achieve their aims through targeting a major player. However, this will work best through an arrest, not a murder. Despite this, I just don't trust Buckley, as he's proven to resort to the lowest of lows to advance, so we'll keep an eye out on him. Suspect number 3, Scully. Scully, the blood gang leader and spiritually eccentric drug lord, kicks off our top 3 potential offenders. The armed men attacking Franklin's organization closely represent the kind who would be associated with this collective: street soldiers. Also, he's one of the 2 suspects on this list with a clear axe to grind with the young kingpin due to the events of Season 4, which left him down a wife, brother-in-law, and most tragically, a daughter. His alliance with Jerome and Louie is one of the few things keeping him off Saint's head. But what if he's made other plans? That price cut was something he strongly pushed for once promised. So could that factor in? Or something more? Another major angle can loop in Skull to these attacks, one that I'll expound upon in just a second. Suspect number 2, Veronique. Veronique, just from her randomness alone, easily makes the top 2 of our whodunit list. First off, just who is this woman? Where did she come from? And how did she come to make Franklin's acquaintance? We haven't received full answers to these questions, but we do understand what her benefit is to Saint. She's a real estate powerhouse, setting her sights on building her family up and segueing her kingpin boyfriend into a life of legitimacy. However, there's just something off about her, something that you just can't credit to Mystique alone. Following the second shootout, Veronique was the one that concealed the weapons from the rest of the family. On the surface, this is sensible, as the cops wouldn't be as quick to search a woman, especially a pregnant one. But what if there's more? Prior to the attacks, Neek stated cryptically that, quote, Louie just may need to hear things from someone else. What if that someone else were those hitters in order to quickly inspire her investment into the real estate endeavor due to her fear of violence from the drug gang? Her proximity to Franklin's organization and Saint himself means that she understands the ins and outs, who would be where and how to strike. Saint has been betrayed by love interests in the past, all of them in fact. This would be yet another blow to his romantic endeavors, but on a much deeper level from where this commentator sits. Veronique, as I previously stated, comes off as an intelligence proxy, someone who's being used by a higher authority to subtly infiltrate Franklin's cadre and dismantle it. In fact, I wonder at times if she's really even pregnant. How does a pregnant woman sip champagne, as Nick does in episode 3, following another real estate slam dunk? Outside of her desire to go legit, assuming she's not an agent, what would be her additional motivation? I guess we'll find that out soon enough if she's indeed behind it all. And suspect number 1, Louie. The love of Jerome's life and Franklin's once favorite auntie, Queen Louie, is number 1 on my suspect list. This might come off as a surprise to many of you, but it's for a plethora of reasons. For starters, she's currently at odds with Franklin due to her desire to go her own way. Next, she needs to give up someone to Buckley despite the prior raid, which was a band-aid for his superiors, not the slam dunk they're really salivating for. Also, Louie maintained a good working relationship with Teddy during Franklin's shooting recovery, so he wouldn't be of use to her if the plan was to go it alone for good, as she'd already have access to his connect. This may sound wild due to Teddy's current fate as a result of the hit, but there's more. Louie has cemented her alliance with Scully, who would have the soldiers to carry out such attacks. As I previously stated, she knows all the location points and subsequently resisted the real estate deal because that would make them a strong unit, and she desires total control and dominance. If that isn't enough, just who is really paging her at the lunch table prior to hit number 2? We assumed it was Franklin contacting them both, but what if she was getting confirmation of the first hit and the disconcerting news that the plug may have been compromised in the massacre, explaining that defeated look upon her face? Louie clearly declared in the episode's start that she has her own plans, dreams, and aspirations. What if Franklin's existence is the only thing blocking those things? She definitely has the clearest motivation from where this commentator stands, but I hope I'm wrong, all things considered. This would be a major betrayal for Saint should it prove true, and would mean the end of their family business, legitimate and otherwise, as we know it. But what are your thoughts on all of this? Who's behind the Franklin Saint massacres from where you're sitting? Be sure to drop me your opinions in the comments below. As always, I thank you for watching today's video. If you liked today's video, go ahead and drop a $1 on that Cash App for us, hit the like button, share it with your friends who are fans of Snowfall, and subscribe for more content such as this. This is Rudy P. Magic of Rudy P. Magic Beats, and have a blessed one until the next one. Peace, y'all.
Rudy beat that beat with a bad.